I have arrived, and I wanted to tell you about my vaccine story, so here we are. Ahem. So, this is my second vaccine. I have Moderna. I have no idea what the side effects are going to be like for the second dose of this one. Both of my parents got Moderna, I'm pretty sure, and they were both pretty sick after the second dose, but I'm not going to put that out there. I'm going to tell you about my journey. My very first vaccine. Oh goodness. So there's a main street in our city, and I was getting it through CVS because I saw Jen from Wong Fu got a sticker that said I got I got vaccinated at CVS, and I was like, that is so cute. And also I was looking on some other, like, I think it was called myvaccine.gov.ca or something like that, and I was just having a really hard time because it was asking me like all these questions about the insurance provider, and I am a newly formed adult, so I do not know about those things. And so I went on CVS, and it was super easy, and so I was looking at the thing, and they didn't have any of the local CVS's, except I saw one that had this big street name in our town. And I was like, oh, I'll get the one on big street name. And so I enrolled, and then I told my parents, I was like, it's at CVS, it's super great, like, I know somebody who got one there, it seems super easy, like, the sign-up process was easy, and it's on big street. And they're like, there is no CVS there. And I was like, no, it said on there, like, I read in the directions, it had that street name. Well, anyway, so it comes to the day, and we, like, map out the first vaccine dose, and it turns out that there is a city with the same street name that's, like, a couple counties away. Maybe 40 minutes, 30 minutes drive away. And I'm like, oh, oops. So you live and you learn, and we're driving out there, and it's, like, in the middle of an industrial area. And first it's like mostly warehouses, and we're driving, and we're like, like, there isn't a single 7-Eleven or like drugstore anywhere, like, there's just gonna be a CVS, like, no grocery store, and just these big cement buildings. And then we get into like kind of shady town, like, I don't know, there's some shady characters walking down the street. It just looks very like gray and drab. And then there's just like a big sign for CVS on the side of the road. And you know how CVS like feels bougie, and you walk in and like their makeup is all like shiny and plasticky, and you're like, ooh, like, I really don't go to CVS enough. This one did not have that at all. And I've heard some stories, and like I had seen some pictures at the time of people like getting their vaccine in like the alley next to the building. And I told my mom, I was like, I know we just drove 40 minutes to get here, but like, if they try to inject me in the alley, like, this is simply not happening. Like, I cannot do this. And so we walk in, and the inside just kind of looks like a rundown CVS. It's kind of old, they have yellow lights, but I'm like, okay, at least it looks like a regular CVS. Like, I can deal with this. So I go to the back, and then they're like, no, you have to go back to the front. So I go to the front, and I give them, I only have my student ID because I still don't have my driver's license. So I give them my student ID, and they're like, oh, you're from such and such high school. Where is that? And I was like, oh, it's in my city. And they're like, that is really far away. And I was like, yeah. And then like, it's a male nurse who's checking me in, and he just starts chatting, and he's like, oh, like, what college are you going to? Like, what kind of activities are you involved in? And I was like, you seem very nice, but also you're in the middle of shady town, and am I gonna tell you everything? No, sir, I simply am not. But he was super nice, and so he checked me in, and then I got my thing, and then we go, and it's kind of in the back, like a little curtain thing, and it looks like a regular CVS. And so they bring us back there, we sit down, I'm like pumped, I'm ready to go, and I hand the camera to my mom, because I've seen people like take, you know, vaccine selfies, a vac selfie, and I was ready for it. And I told my mom for sure, I was like, just get me, like, don't put the nurse in the photo, you know, because they don't need this. And so then I was like, oh, like, this is my mom, because I'm over 18, so technically, like, it should just be me. So I was like, oh, this is my mom, she's just gonna, like, keep me company because I'm scared. And then the lady turned around, and she's like, whoa, are you taking a picture? And we were like, oh yeah, like, we just wanted to, like, take a picture and, like, send it to our family member who isn't here, you know, because, like, it's an exciting moment. And she's like, oh no, you cannot take pictures here. She was like, it is against CVS policy. And I was like, really? And then she's like, yeah, because you know what you're gonna do with that? You're gonna post it on social media. And I was like, well, all I have been seeing are vac selfies, like, all week. So, I mean, yes, people do that, like, it's not just me. And she was like, no, they were supposed to put up the signs today that we are not allowed to take pictures in the entire CVS building. You cannot take pictures inside of a CVS. It is company policy. And I was like, oh, okay, like, I wanted to be really nice about it. So I was like, I'm sorry, like, Mom, put the camera away, cut, you know? And she was like, because it was basically, she didn't say it in this word, but she was basically like, it was me. Like some girl took a picture when I was the one vaccinating her. And so the entire company is now not allowed to have pictures in the entire CVS building. And at the time I was like, I didn't really understand what was happening, but I was like, oh, we should just like be considerate, just like do what she says. And so we were walking out and we were like driving in the car. Apparently, CVS has a no photo rule inside their vaccine place and inside their entire building. They said they didn't have any signs up, but they said that we're supposed to put them up. But I officially am vaccinated. Ka-ching. And I was like, Mom, like, that was really weird. Like, I've seen a lot of people, like, taking vax selfies. And, like, obviously this lady was traumatized by the last person who took a photo. I'm like, I feel bad, but I wonder why they don't allow photos at CVS when they allow them, like, tons of other places. And my mom was like, well, like, they probably don't want the conditions of the vaccine place exposed. Because it was kind of just, like, a table behind a curtain. And, like, I wasn't really looking that closely. But she's like, if it was dirty, then it would be caught on film, and CVS doesn't want to get bad press, like people posting about them, and you can see in the background that the vaccine place is dirty. And I was like, oh my gosh, but like, it shouldn't be dirty. Like, they shouldn't not allow photos, they should just not make it dirty. So that was that place, and it was really whack. But then my brother got his yesterday, and he said it was really great. It was at our local hospital, and that they had an opening, and they were able to talk and work it out, because usually they only have Pfizer, but they were getting Moderna, blah, blah, blah. They put me on the list. I walked in. It was great. All the nurses were super nice. The first lady was a Filipina, like grandma nurse, and I was like, yes, I trust you. Take me with you. And we walk in, and they have this, like, big furry dog, and that, like, not all the kids, one like, little girl was, like, petting the dog, and it was, like, a volunteer dog for like stress. And then they took me in the back, and I was like scared. I was scared singing. It was like ear, ear, ear. And one of the nurses was like, oh my gosh, like, this is your second one, like, it'll be fine. There was a lot of like good grandma vibes going on, a lot of like older, really kind nurses. And so I sat down with this one like younger nurse, and she was going to give me the vaccine, and it was in front of a fish tank, and so I was just able to like watch the fish. And then like one of the fish pooped, and so I was like, oh, ha ha ha, like, that fish is eating the other fish's poop. And then like the nurse was making a joke, and everyone was like, it was super relaxed, and they just went teet, and then it was done, and we walked out. And we sit down, and there were some nurses in the waiting area, like, throwing shade. One lady was like, we need somebody to like watch this area. And then this lady was like, I can do it. And she's like, I am a nurse. And the other one was like, oh, like, I know, because they're both in like nurse outfits, and I don't know if they knew each other, if they were from like different branches or something. But she was like, I know, like, I'm just asking for someone to watch. And she's like, well, that is my job, so I can watch. It was such tea. But like, we were coming out, and they're like, hi, like, just take a seat, we've cleaned the chairs, would you like a juice box? And I was like, yes, I would love a juice box. And like, I love that I'm not getting the vibes that this is dirty and going to inject me in the side of the street. And so we just sat, and it was good. And then the dog came in as we were leaving, because the dog had to go to the other room. And it was a great experience. We got our vaccine, dose 2. So much better than the first place. The first place was in a very different city that we'd never been to before, and it was super shady. And the people here were so nice, and they even gave us a juice box, and they had a dog in the vaccine place. Like, while you were waiting and like doing your arm rolls, you could pet a dog. And then they also had like a fish tank. It was so good. Mom, do you want to say anything to the vlog?
No, I need to focus on driving.
Okay. Yay! On that note, I'm vaccinated. We'll see what happens with the symptoms. I'm not gonna vlog it. You don't want to see me like tomorrow. Tomorrow is the last Friday of school. Very exciting. I encourage you to get vaccinated if you have not, and I'm gonna be having so much fun now that I'm vaccinated. Still safety, still gonna wear my mask and be respectful, but get your mask. And if you're from my town, get your mask from a real hospital and not a CVS. Sorry, CVS. But yeah, make sure you get vaccinated, and it's gonna be a vaccine summer. Ka-ching! I'm like Popeye. Like, someone get me a can of spinach.